Snow fell lightly on the sidewalks of Crack W's Old Casimir's district, lined with old cafes with sweaty windows and the warmth of their yellow lamps. In one corner of this district lies the Wisła River Café, a small establishment run by a woman in her 50s named Albina Novak. Albina, a widow for 10 years, was known for her unfailing smile and the warmth that enveloped her customers before a cup of coffee. Every morning, a young man named Maxim Zielinski, an architect in his early 30s, would come to the cafe carrying his laptop and sitting in the corner overlooking the frozen river. Maxim and Albina had a strange friendship, not devoid of warm words, but never beyond the threshold of pleasantries. Albina sometimes helped him dispel his dark thoughts, and he responded with words of thanks and sometimes small bouquets of flowers. On a heavy winter evening, a thin, shivering girl entered the cafe. She was wearing an old coat and a red woolen hat that covered half her face. She shyly approached Albina and asked, "Can I work here, even if it's to clean the floor?" Albina looked at her for a moment, then smiled gently and said, "What's your name, little one?" "I'm Anakashka, a first-year student, and I ran away from my home in Warsaw because of my father's violence." Without asking further questions, Albina pointed to a small room behind the kitchen and said, "Start tomorrow, and I'll house you here temporarily. Just make sure you don't neglect your studies." Weeks passed, and the cafe grew warmer within his presence, but Maxim, noticing the change, didn't intervene, almost ignoring her presence. That is, one stormy day, when Albina was late opening the cafe for the first time in years. Anna waited for hours, then, in her anxiety, led her to Albina's apartment above the cafe, where she found her lying on the floor, unconscious from a sudden heart attack. Neighbors carried her to the hospital, while the cafe remained closed, the hearts of those who loved it trembling. The next day, Maxim came to the cafe and found it closed. He asked the neighbors why, then headed to the hospital. When he found Albina asleep in her bed, he was surprised to find Anna next to her, holding her hand. For the first time, he asked himself, "How many times have you asked her about her health, about her life?" In the following days, Maxim changed. He no longer sat at his usual table. He cooked soup in the evenings and brought it to the hospital, temporarily taking over the cafe alongside Anna. When Albina recovered, she found the cafe not only untouched, but even more beautiful. Maxim had added an architectural touch that brought every corner to life. On the evening of her return, she said to him, "Thank you for what you did. I didn't think you were that kind of person." He smiled and said shyly, "Words were always easy, but I was afraid of action. I guess I learned my lesson too late." Before leaving, he placed a small key in her hand and said, "If you need anything, this is my key. This is not a courtesy." Epilogue. In the Casimir's neighborhood, the Wisła River Cafe is still open every morning. It is said that if you sit there long enough, you hear stories of loyalty, told not in words, but in actions.